A new study shows domestic violence deaths have hit a 10-year high in Ohio.
This comes as the national rate for domestic violence is dropping. Domestic violence is our big story today.
And there's a new report from the Ohio Domestic Violence Network that says between July of 2024 and this past June, 157 Ohioans were killed in domestic violence cases. It's a 37% increase from the previous year's report. Reporter Sarah Goldenberg is taking a look at the problem. She spoke with a survivor who hopes telling her story will save lives.
Leslie Terry doesn't take a single day for granted.
I continually prayed every day. I prayed every day, for God to get me out this abusive situation before I end up dead or the abuser, one of the two.
Years ago, she was so in love, she ignored the red flags, suffering repeated beatings and emotional abuse for years. The mom of four tried to hide it until she couldn't anymore. Now she's telling her story to help others.
I don't want them to, just keep accepting the I'm sorry's, oh, I won't do it again. The first time, it's going to keep happening. I want them to get help right then and there.
13 years later, Leslie finally feels free with a second chance at life. But sadly, many others don't get that chance. The Ohio Domestic Violence Network just released its 10th annual fatality report, and the numbers show things are getting worse. The number of domestic violence fatalities is up 37% over the past year, from 114 deaths reported in 2023 to 2024 to 157 deaths in 2024 to 2025. And the data shows guns were used to kill the victims and suspects in 144 of the 157 fatalities, 84% of those deaths. The report found victims had been involved with the courts in either criminal or family proceedings in more than 2/3 of the deadly cases. And over 1/3 of these cases involved murder-suicides. Leslie urges you to get help for someone if you spot the signs of abuse.
And a lot of times it's obvious because we see the bruises and the change in attitudes and things like that. But sometimes they're scared to speak up. And it's okay, it's okay. I'm here to let them know that they're not alone.
She hopes sharing her story will inspire others to ask for help, even if they can't say the words. She wants you to know the hand signal for help that went viral on TikTok a few years ago and helped save a woman's life in Kentucky.
That's the 5-hand, fold your thumb, tuck your thumb. When somebody see that, that means they are in danger. Call for help.
Years later, Leslie has found the words she couldn't say before as she heals through writing. She's on her second book now called Free at Last.
As I'm writing, it's like I'm letting it all out. I felt so much better writing, and I just thank God that I was one of the ones that did survive, because it was some things that was done to me that there's no way that I'm sitting here right now, again, telling my story.
Sarah Goldenberg reporting. According to the report, some Ohio counties saw more domestic violence deaths than others. Franklin County, where Columbus is located, had the most deaths due to domestic violence at 33. In our area, Lucas County had 4, Fulton County 2, and those are the only counties to report domestic violence related deaths. We should note this does not mean we're seeing a decrease in domestic violence across our area. Ohio's Attorney General says in 2023, law enforcement agencies in Lucas County responded to more than 8,700 domestic violence incidents, and of those, 1,900 resulted in a person being charged with domestic violence.
Now, a bipartisan pair of Northwest Ohio lawmakers are working to strengthen domestic violence laws in the state.
Victim advocates are honoring them for their work. 13 Action News anchor Josh Krupp is live with us to explain their efforts. Josh?
Tina, Tony, just in the last few years, we have seen progress on this front. Ohio has changed various laws in an effort to try and protect survivors of domestic violence and give police more tools to punish perpetrators. Among them, one law making it illegal to put a tracking device on somebody, like an AirTag, without their permission. Another law prevents victims from often meritless defamation lawsuits filed by abusers, which are intended to silence victims. Ohio also in recent years has made strangulation its own felony offense. Among the biggest advocates for these bills are Senator Paula Hicks Hudson, a Democrat from Toledo, and Senator Teresa Gavarone, a Republican from Bowling Green. The Ohio Domestic Violence Network honored them with the Leadership and Policy Award this week for efforts to enact these changes and support victim support systems.
to make sure that everyone, everywhere, all the time are safe and that they feel safe and that they can believe in our system.
A network of support can really help victims get away and save lives.
Gavarone and Hicks Hudson are also working right now together on a bill to reform Ohio's family court system that aims to improve the way Ohio courts handle child custody disputes when a parent is a victim of abuse. That bill right now is moving through the committee process and faces some organized opposition. Tina and Tony, Gavarone says it is a challenge, but it's one that they are up for. Tina.
All right, thanks, Josh. October is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and a local exhibit is telling the stories of those victims in Northwest Ohio. Now, the Silent Witness Project hosts life-size figures of local women and girls who were killed in acts of domestic violence. This year's exhibit was unveiled at the main library just last night. 42 women and girls were remembered, their stories read aloud to the community. Domestic violence awareness advocates say they need community support because it's not just an individual issue.
It's not just a statistic. These are people that are no longer in our community, employed, worship, families, lives missing in our community now.
That exhibit is on display at the main library, along with additional wood figures at different Toledo library branches throughout this month. You can find out more about the display through a link on our website, 13abc.com.
Organizations in Wood County are also bringing awareness to domestic violence. Advocates working with the Cocoon are organizing several events this month so community members can be part of the movement to stop violence before it starts. Their next event to increase awareness will be October 13th at BGSU's Student Union. It will involve an exhibit to put an end to victim blaming that clothing somehow invites sexual assault. The What Were You Wearing exhibit will display different types of outfits worn by Wood County survivors at the time of their assaults. The exhibit will be up from 8:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. that day. And if you or a loved one need help, we have a